and welcome back to my channel. So a few weeks ago I did a budget grocery haul video with enough food to last our family of 5 7 to 10 days. This included breakfast, lunch, dinner and all of our snacks as well. So if you haven't seen that one already, make sure to go and check it out. I really do feel like I got so much value for money, as I always do when I shop at Aldi. And as a follow-up to this, today I'm going to be showing you guys a full meal plan or food diary for that week to 10 days, showing you all of the meals that we were able to make with those ingredients. Now obviously prices vary from country to country, so what you would spend on groceries in your own home country, if it's not Australia, is going to differ from what we would spend on our groceries here in Australia. And obviously the meals that I prepared today are quite simple because I have tried to keep families on a budget in mind when making the meal plans. So if you want to hear more about that, I actually have a little story that I want to share at the end of this video. With that in mind, let's dive in. Okay, so to kick this off, we're going to start with the family breakfast, which includes everyone except myself. In our house, we really do only have basic breakfast. We have cereal and toast, which we mostly alternate between, but then the boys also do like to have a little bit of fruit every now and then. And sometimes on the weekends, we like to make omelets, pancakes, and smoothies, which can all be made from the ingredients from the haul. But usually a bowl of fruit, box of cereal, and a loaf of bread is enough to last us 7 days. Then moving on to the kids' lunch boxes that they take to school each day. Today I'm starting with half a bagel each for the kids because they're quite filling. These ones have some ham, cheese and homemade chutney on them just to give the kids something sweet. And I've just set that on a bed of lettuce. Then off to the side, Heidi has some peas where the other kids have some strawberries because Heidi is not a big fruit eater. Then up the top we have some homemade banana bread, which is a very simple and easy banana bread recipe with the ingredients that we purchased. And then Heidi has some carrots where the boys have some mixed grapes. And then Heidi has some hummus to dip her carrots and peas into, and the boys have some yummy blueberries to snack on. Moving on to day 2, each of the children have been given some little mini quiches, which I just made with mushroom, zucchini, capsicum, eggs, and a little dollop of cream. And then Heidi has some ham off to the side, whereas the boys have some banana each. They all have some cheese and crackers up the top. Then off onto the right, Heidi has some cucumber sticks and some capsicum sticks for her hummus. And the boys have some mandarins, apples, and some sultanas. As one of this week's family meals, we had tacos with chicken. So before serving, I set aside some of the fills for school lunches. So you'll see that I've used a cookie cutter to cut out some regular sized flatbread to make some smaller rounds and put that in the children's lunchbox. Then off to the left, they each have some of that chicken. Up the top, they have some lettuce, just with some crackers for something a little bit extra. Then off to the right, they have some corn to put on their little school-made tacos. Then down the bottom they have some cheese, which they can put on their tacos or they can eat with the crackers. And then Heidi has some hummus, which she can use on her little mini tacos, and the boys have a strawberry each as something a little bit sweet. On day 4, I've just given the kids a sandwich roll each, which is just flattened sandwich bread with ham, cheese, and ranch dressing on it. And then off to the left, I've just given the kids an egg each, which is cut in halves. Up top, we've got some banana bread again, and then off to the top right, Heidi's got some cucumber and some carrot to dip in her hummus, which you'll notice is a different color this time because I've actually mixed some pumpkin in to give it another flavor, whereas the boys have apples, grapes, and blueberries. On day 5, I've given the kids some bagels again, this time with ham and cream cheese and baby spinach on them. Then Heidi has some peas where the boys have some yummy mandarins. Up top, all 3 of the children have Aldi's delicious puff pastry twists as something just a bit different to your regular crackers. Then Heidi has some capsicum up the very top there, whereas the boys have some strawberries. And in Heidi's center section, she has the same hummus again, which has been flavored with pumpkin, and the boys have sultanas again. On day 6, the kids had their mini quiches again, and then Heidi off to the left has some cheese where the boys have some banana. Then up top, they all have some air-popped popcorn, which is super yummy, and once again a nice alternative to the other types of crackers. Then Heidi has her cucumber, carrot, and a pesto sweetened hummus, whereas the boys have blueberries, grapes, and strawberries. On day 7, we've done a bit of an Aussie favourites meal with some plain old Vegemite sandwiches in the main compartment, some eggs again off to the left, Then Heidi has actually requested some banana bread on this day, so I let her have that, and the boys actually wanted some cheese and crackers. So I do let them pick from time to time. And then off to the top right, Heidi has her carrots, capsicum, and the same pesto flavored hummus again. And the boys are having some sweet corn, some strawberries, and some blueberries again. From these lunch boxes, we also have plenty left over for afternoon snacks. So basically, it's just pretty much the same types of things that the kids come home and have in the afternoons or during the day on the weekends. In terms of our family dinners, we get quite a lot of bang for our buck. This week we decided to kick off our week with a delicious cauliflower soup, which just takes a tablespoon of oil, a diced onion, 3 of the potatoes diced, about 3/4 of the cauliflower, 4 garlic cloves chopped. I couldn't find my mint sauce, so I know that's a bit weird. A litre of chicken stock, half a tub of the cream, and then we just leave it to cook. Obviously, once it's finished cooking, it's just a matter of blending it all up. It's actually enough for a full meal for James and the kids, with enough left over for 2 whole more family meals. Day 2 was our favourite bow tie pasta with bolognese sauce, and this just combines a tablespoon of oil, 3 cloves of finely chopped garlic, a pinch of salt, a diced onion, a handful of the sliced mushrooms, 2 grated carrots, 2 of the tomatoes diced, half a zucchini grated, a tablespoon of the tomato paste, and half or 500 grams of the mince. Once it's all cooked together and just adding that onto half a bag of the cooked bow tie pasta, that's enough to feed James and the 3 children, with a little bit of cheese on the top, by the way, and a little bit of fresh basil from our basil plant, which usually I would incorporate into the sauce, but I completely forgot this time around, and enough pasta left over to give James a whole meal for lunch at work, which is really cool. In addition to that, we have enough mince left over to do a whole separate family meal for James and the kids as well. On day 3, we did easy Swedish meatballs with gravy. This just took 1/4 of the beef mince, 2 slices of milk-soaked bread, 1 of the onions caramelized, some salt, pepper, ground nutmeg, and an egg. After the meatballs are minced, rolled, and cooked, I make my gravy with a couple of tablespoons of flour and about a cup of water, half a cup of the sour cream, a tablespoon of Worcestershire, a teaspoon of mustard, and to bulk it all up a bit, I add about 3 of the potatoes baked in foil with a bit of butter and garlic. This is enough for 1 family meal for James and the 3 kids, plus a work meal for James. On day 4, we did an easy taco kit for dinner, and we decided to do this with chicken as opposed to some of the beef mince that we bought, so I'd be able to put it into the kids' lunchbox as well as save some aside for one of my meals. So there's definitely plenty to go around for not just this meal, but other lunch meals for James, myself, and the kids as well. You'll notice that what we have here is enough for a whole dinner for James and the kids, and then what you see here is what James took to work for the next day. On day 5, we just did a family favorite of honey mustard chicken with rice, and to start that off, we just do a tablespoon of oil, 500 grams of chicken, a tablespoon of honey, a tablespoon of Dijon mustard, and a tablespoon of mustard seeds, 2 cloves of the garlic, 2 cups of the diced potato, 1 cup of the pumpkin diced, and 2 diced carrots. Then we let it cook for a little bit, and once all of those ingredients have cooked together, I like to take the lid off and throw in about half a tub of cream and finish it all up on a bed of rice. As you can see, that's enough for James and the kids for a dinner. And then in terms of leftovers, we have enough for a work lunch for James and a whole separate meal for James and the 3 children. Day 6 is one of our more easier meals, which is just a basil chicken and zucchini noodles. And the way I start this is by cooking about 500 grams of chicken in a tablespoon of oil, and then just adding about a tablespoon of basil pesto and about 2 lemons worth of lemon juice. Once that's all mixed up, I like to add a little bit of garlic, maybe 1 or 2 cloves, and then mixing that through with some zucchini noodles, which I've just spiraled out through my spiralizer. And that's pretty much it. Enough for James and the kids for a dinner, as well as a whole separate meal for James to take to work tomorrow. On day 7, we decided to do an easy beef moussaka. So this is an easier and much cheaper take on the traditional lamb moussaka, and it just takes a tablespoon of oil, a diced onion, 2 cloves of garlic, 1/4 or 500 grams of our mince, 1 cup of diced tomatoes, a cup of water, a teaspoon of cinnamon, and half a teaspoon of allspice. And then I've just sliced and salted and dried the eggplant before popping it in the oven to bake for a few minutes, and then layering the eggplant with the beef mince like you would with a lasagna. When I get up to the top, I like to finish off with a yummy bechamel sauce, just made with butter, self-raising flour, and milk, and then top that off with some Parmesan cheese and bake it until it's a bit brown. This gives us enough meals to serve James and the kids ×2, which means we have either a whole separate family meal or maybe 3 work lunches for James to have later down the track. Next, we move on to my mama meals, which I will try to move through quickly, which should be easy because they're fairly simple. Day 1 was char-grilled vegetables and salmon, combining onion, pumpkin, capsicum, and zucchini with 2 grilled salmon portions, giving me both a dinner and a lunch for the next day. And as a dressing for that, I just add a tablespoon of basil pesto and the juice from one of my lemons, which just gives it a little bit of an extra kick and makes a really, really yummy meal. Day 2 was a surprisingly tasty and filling Asian cucumber salad made up with half of the cucumber diced, a quarter of the capsicum chopped, and a quarter of a red onion. To give the flavor, I use a tablespoon of rice vinegar, a tablespoon of sesame oil, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, a tablespoon of honey, 1 teaspoon of fresh minced ginger, and 2 cloves of garlic. Once combined, I can store this for 2 to 3 days, which is enough for a dinner and a lunch. Day 3 is an easy baked potato and salmon. The way I do this is by adding the juice of half a lemon with a teaspoon or 2 of butter, a teaspoon of minced garlic, and a handful of freshly chopped basil, and mixing it together to create a paste. I then baste this over the potato and the salmon before wrapping in foil and baking for about half an hour to an hour until it's fully cooked through, giving us another easy lunch and dinner prepped in just a couple of minutes. Day 4 is another super simple one. I'm just making a naked taco salad using the same ingredients that we used in our family taco meal the other night to make a really easy lunch and dinner salad. Day 5 is going to seem like a super lazy one, you guys, but this baked broccoli and cauliflower topped with veggie seasoning and Parmesan actually tastes really good, and once again is surprisingly filling. On day 6, I just took some of the zucchini noodles I made the rest of the family earlier in the week and topped it with some yummy roasted pumpkin. And then on day 7, I made my all-time favorite meal at the moment, and that is an egg white omelette with mushroom and spinach. Obviously, you can add a whole lot of other things into this recipe to give it more flavor, but honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. I just love this combination of 3 foods. I think it's really yummy, and once again, it's another filling one. So that gave me 2 really nice meals throughout the week, and I actually prefer this one cold, so it's all right to refrigerate. And then last but not least, we've come to my mama snacks. So this is very similar to what James and the kids eat throughout the week, except I've added some almonds in there. And this is something which will probably last maybe half the week. And then there was plenty left over from this to last the rest of the week out. So that wraps up our budget family meal plan and food diary. Going through and tallying up all of the individual meals I made throughout the week, I calculated that we made a whopping 119 meal portions and 97 snack portions out of our measly $168.02 grocery haul. On top of that, we still have a whole half a bag of salmon left over and a quarter of the beef mince, which is well and truly enough to feed our family for the week, with enough left over for a few days worth of meals on top of that. Now, I did try to keep these recipes budget friendly, easy to prepare, and as healthy as possible with busy young families in mind. Now, there was actually a time in my life where we did struggle financially, and going to the grocery shop once a fortnight was the only kind of shopping fix I could get. Wondering where your next meal will come from is an awful feeling, and the anxiety around that can impact on every aspect of your life. So I am not joking when I say that shopping at Aldi has saved me in more ways than one throughout my lifetime. And that's why I always have and probably always will be a huge advocate for Aldi grocery chains. I cannot recommend them enough, regardless of what stage in life you're in. So I want to wrap this video up by saying thank you so much for watching right through to this part of the video. If you did like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe and that notification bell so you can see any of these future videos. And let me know in the comments what kind of budget-friendly recipes you have in your household. Because you never know, there might be someone out there watching these videos who's really struggling and could really use your advice. If you are struggling financially, know that it will get better. Just take things one day at a time, set yourself small achievable goals, and if you need to chat, I am always here. Bye guys.